Yeah, Goldshore Resources is a gold development company in Ontario, about 100 kilometers west of Thunder Bay. We acquired the Moss Lake project from Wesdome in 2021, and we've gone on to significantly drill it and develop it over the last almost 2 years now. So we got through 75,000 meters of a 100,000 meter program last year, and we put out a mineral resource update in November of 2022. And we have 4.17 million ounces at 1.1 grams. And contained within that, we have 2.2 million ounces at 2 grams. So we've got a very unique deposit, and it covers a 3.5 kilometer strike currently, but there's known mineralization in 5 kilometers in both directions. So we've got a very, very exciting project. Yeah, so we're going to continue drill, and in April of 2023, we are going to put out an updated mineral resource estimate. And the reason for that is only half of the drilling last year got in the mineral resource update in November, so we're going to update it with the balance of that. So we expect a significant increase to the 4 million ounces we have in a current resource. And then we're going to take that and we're going to construct a project around that. We know we have a large mineral endowment. We know that we can drill this up to 10 or 15 million ounces, and I know that sounds like arm waving, but the reality is we have that size of mineral endowment. So, but we're taking a phased approach. I want the market to be able to accept the size of project we're going to do, rather than build something multi-billion-dollar kind of detour-like project. We're going to do a phase one, and that phase one PEA will start in April and go on into, we'll get the economic results of that out in October of this coming year. So 2 big catalysts in the first kind of half of the year. And then the last catalyst will be a mineral resource update later in the year, towards the end of the year, based on all the work that we've done this year. So the market will be right up to speed as to where Moss Lake is. Another catalyst that we haven't talked about is North Coldstream and Vanguard. We have VMS-style deposits on our property as well, on our land package. We have a substantial land package. And we put out a press release just recently of 65 meters at 0.88% copper equivalent with cobalt credits. So an exciting hit. That was at surface, exciting hit, historical mine, so we know that it's mineralized. We may look at spinning that out, we may look at drilling that up to a resource. Not sure how we're going to approach it. It may be a catalyst for this year, but it's a really, really exciting hit we had. Yeah, that's a great question. So what sets us apart from the number of companies that have low-grade open pit deposits in Canada and in the US? And it's a simple answer. When we started drilling this, we were going to drill it up to 10 or 15 million ounces. That was the vision, to get size and scale. We knew it was a 1 gram deposit, and that was kind of the only narrative we had at the time. When in March and April of this past year, we started to hit a high-grade shear domain. We started to hit these shears that produced really, really high-grade intercepts. So we focused on that. We focused on trying to get that high-grade material identified and proven up. We did that. Half our deposit is like at 2.2 grams, half our current mineral resource inventory. So we've focused on that. And the difference is we're going to try and sequence the higher grade material through the PEA at the front end of the mine plan. And that will deliver very, very different and positive economics in a PEA and in a feasibility study later on down the road. So that's what sets us apart. We're not going to be mining 1 gram material or 0.7 gram material from the beginning of the mine plan. We're actually going to be able to maybe have a head grade of 1.7 or 1.6 because of these high grade shear domains, and that's really substantial. Yeah, I think we were in a really hot market in 2021. In the fall of 2021 and then into 2022 with respect to finding good drilling contractors. And we found an excellent drilling contractor last year, and we ran with it. But prior to that, we had our problems, and mobilizing crews and mobilizing adequately trained crews was difficult. Getting people into our sector, getting junior geologists, senior geologists has been a challenge, because for every 3 mining geologists that retire, there's only 1 coming up through the educational system. So the scarcity of geologists is quite high. We've been able to put an excellent team together of senior geologists, and They've got experience in this area, they've got experience in this type of geology, and we overcome a challenge by really taking our time to get the right people. Our VP of Exploration, Pete Flindell, he and I have worked together for a long time, and he's almost like a mentor trainer to people. He loves to bring people up. He has a wide 37 years, a wide band of knowledge of various deposits around the world. And he approached this project and said, I'm not going to do what the history did. I'm not going to do what Moss Lake Gold Mines did. I'm going to look at this holistically. I'm going to look at this differently. And that's why we started with a big VTEM survey. We started with the data, and then we let the data drive us. We weren't model driven, we were data driven, and we continue to be. And he has got the team working and thinking like that. And I think the success of Moss Lake is because we've taken that approach. We could have taken a different approach, but we wouldn't have had the same results. What keeps me up at night? It's a great question, because I take responsibility for all of our people and all of our stakeholders. And my job is to get the story out there. My job is to raise money. And in a very, very difficult capital environment, that is tough. It was very tough to raise money last year. It's very tough to raise money right now. And I take the responsibility that we have all of these people, and we have all of our stakeholders, our host communities, First Nations, and we have an obligation to advance this project. And I've always said that speed to market is very important. I think it's really important to advance the development of in as short a time frame as possible. The capital markets last year didn't allow that. So yes, I stay up at night because where is the next dollar going to come from? The market has, I think, bottomed, but it hasn't turned yet to the point where there's a lot of liquidity coming into kind of gold equities. Gold performed very well last year. It did its job. It went sideways depending on which currency you look at. But gold equities come off 70–80% in the junior space, 20–30% in the mid-tiers and majors. And we haven't started to see that reconciliation yet. We haven't seen the juniors come back up. We've seen the majors come back up. They've recovered, but we haven't seen the juniors. And that will be next, and I think that will be a function of the capital liquidity in the market coming available, so these projects can advance, and ours as well. That keeps me up at night. Where's the next dollar coming from? So, I was one of the founders of a company called Katanga Mining, and I left Kinross in 2005 to start that with Bob Buck and Art Ditto and Rick Dye. And we started Katanga Mining on our checkbook, on our personal checkbook, and the early stage investors we brought into Katanga Mining did 86 times money in 4 years. It was an absolute home run. And yes, it's where I made all my money originally, but it was a tremendous project in the DRC, copper cobalt. We entered with a $25 million market cap into the junior space, and we raised $500 million in a week. And I still can't believe how easy it was to raise money, and that was for the DRC back in 2006. So we went on to develop the project. I lived in the Congo for 4 years, and we developed the project, and we exited to Glencore for $2 billion in 2008. And it was a great story, and it's one of those home runs I've had that I like. I've had a couple of home runs, one with Avocet Mining, and all of the private equity companies that we brought into these investments, and I brought into some of these investments, I still have relationships with today, because we only have our reputation for raising the next dollar for the next day. And if you perform, then people will follow you, and they have, and they've followed us to Goldshore as well. Well, I think you can never be so confident in your views that you become, I'll say, blinded or blinkered by the reality that's going on. I'm very cautious now, and I think when you have big successes, when you have failures, I think you start to look at things differently, and you become a little bit cautious versus being a little bit cocky. And I think I've approached Goldshore in a way that, yes, I want to develop it as fast as possible, but I want to be cautious on on dilution. I want to be cautious in the marketplace. I don't want to I'll say, size the company for the future. The instincts you learn in 35, 36 years of building big enterprises and big companies teaches you to be a little bit cautious. And I think I've been cautious with Goldshore so far. This is a project I think can be my next home run. I'm a major investor in this company. I put my money where my mouth is. I've been in every financing. And quite frankly, I really think that we have such a large mineral endowment, and the future and the outlook for gold is so solid. I think we're going to see the next 24 months where we're going to see that paradigm shift, and we are going to see money come back into our sector. These projects are going to get developed, and we will see how good an asset and how good a project that Moss Lake is. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I think at this stage in the market, I think we are at a time where the investment thesis for Goldshore has never been better. The investment opportunity to make a lot of money, a large return on Goldshore, has never been better. And the macro is starting to line up so that it can support a strong gold price going forward, but also the liquidity can come back to the market and support the development of some of these projects. So I think the investment thesis, the opportunity at Goldshore right now has never been better.